I'm in control.
When we think about core training, we generally think about our abs, we think about obliques, we think about deeper core muscles, but something we don't think about very often, something that just doesn't get trained enough in the gym or targeted enough in the gym, is your lower back. And having lower back strength winds up being really, really important if we want to build serious strength, if we want to enhance our deadlift, if we want to enhance our squat, we need a strong lower back. We really should train it more, right?
I fractured 2 vertebrae in my lower spine, and it's been the changing of my goals since that point to want to be able to pick up my grandchildren when I'm 80 years old and have an active lifestyle beyond that point.
The deadlift is a simple act of picking something up off the ground. We're gonna do it throughout our lives. It's gonna incorporate a lot of glutes. It's gonna incorporate a lot of our upper back, incorporate a lot of our abs, but it really is that lower back that's gonna really protect your spine when you do that. And so we have to be really, really strong through our lower back.
Your back starts to feel it. And the fact is, if you're not training it, the weak point's gonna give out. I do think when we're talking about our training, we need to find ways to get ourselves stronger and as resilient as possible. And the fact is, you're gonna feel soreness in areas you didn't feel soreness before. Like if you haven't worked your lower back, you might feel fatigue in there. And it doesn't mean that it's hurt. It just means that it's tired and it's developing just like every other muscle you're gonna train in your body. So we need to know how to do it safely and effectively in a very specific way.
And the biggest thing, period, is on some level within your training, you need to target it. And that's why we've got 5 exercises for you. They're gonna help you address your lower back and you can work into your routines.
At number 5, we're gonna go with your basic lower back exercise in the gym, and that's gonna be your 45-degree back extension. And we're so common to seeing this, and we don't necessarily know how to use it because everyone does it. That means some people do it right and some people do it wrong. And we wanna focus on maintaining a nice, rigid spine, operating through it, and letting the hips do a lot of that work. Because the more your hips are gonna work, we have to take into consideration your low back and your hips play hand in hand. When one side works, the other side is also working. So it's a baseline exercise to work on getting that lower back moving from folding forward and getting all the way up through extension. But it's gonna play a huge role in a lot of the other lifts that we do.
If you want to do this so that we can really focus in on the lower back, you're gonna focus, like Dave said, on not letting your back round, and you want to intentionally think about keeping your spine in a neutral position. Think about staying straight up and down through your spine. That's gonna help you focus a little bit more on the lower back with this. How do you like the reps and sets on this?
Yeah, so I like to go higher volume with this. I would prefer if someone's starting out with it, you end up doing 3 sets, about 15 reps. Now, as a disclaimer, you're going to feel tired in your lower back by working lower back. That's fine. There is a difference between fatigue and achiness.
Work through that fatigue a little bit, start to understand it. You're gonna see that reflected in some of the other exercises we have coming up too.
If you're feeling an achiness, pain, shooting pain, then I would defer going to a specialist to get that checked out if it's something that lingers and bothers you.
But that's number 5. Number 4 on the list is another bodyweight exercise. I know this is a favorite of yours too. This is the bird dog. And this seems simple, it is simple, and I think I like it because it's something everybody can execute.
The fact of the matter is the bird dog is such a special movement when it comes to building resiliency and confidence in the lower back, because you're now lengthening those arms and limbs away from the body, and you need to maintain that ground stability that you actually have to have. The fact is your body's gonna operate better when it feels more stable through situations. So if it doesn't feel stable, it's not gonna allow you to operate as smoothly or as athletically as you would want to. And the bird dog is a great way to inch yourself further and further into more comfortable spaces where we're now challenging hand contact, knee contact, your spinal extensors, your abs, the entirety of the 360 degrees of the core. Everything's involved with this, and you're gonna find out the lower back gets a lot of benefits from doing a movement like this, as well as creating a full body perspective to it.
Your goal on every single rep is to almost make it look easy, and be very mindful of the fact that when I lift my left leg off the ground, as soon as I lift that left knee, suddenly I have a little bit of instability and my hip wants to drop. I want to battle that. That moment is where my left back extensor has to get a little bit of extra work. Don't just do the bird dog and don't just survive the reps, but take your time, work through them. What are the reps and sets on this?
So I would end up doing something with lower repetitions. I would probably do 3 to 4 sets of about 8 reps on each side. It's a great way to set the foundation, and that's why it's such an amazing exercise.
The other exercises on our list wind up being heavy. This is how you get ready for those heavy exercises. You lay the foundation here.
At number 3, we have a pure hinge in the good morning. And a good morning is gonna end up seeing that hip hinge action, but by the placement of the weight, we're gonna find a lot of stress on that lower back, specifically as you're going through the descent in that hinge.
We've got a weight on our mid back, and if we mismanage that, if we are lazy, if we just try to bend at the waist without pushing our butt back, then all of a sudden we're not in a great position. You're not going to go incredibly heavy on it. I think that's the mistake people make with this, is they try to go too heavy. Really understand what's going on. Don't try to get these reps into the stratosphere. I like to do this at 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Take your time with this, but you're gonna get a really, really great lower back benefit out of it. And you're gonna start to understand how to move and load that lower back and be mindful. That's number 3 on our list. So moving right on up, then we get to the Romanian deadlift. And now we're starting to go from loading a little bit, like we were with the good morning, to once you master the Romanian deadlift, you can get really, really heavy with this exercise. Works kind of with any implement. So we can use a trap bar here, we can use dumbbells. Regardless of the implement you're using, what you wanna do, if you really wanna get that lower back burn, if you really wanna focus on your lower back, is you wanna linger for a second, maybe even 2 in the low position. Once you've lowered as far as you can, then you wanna hold for a split second there, because that is that position that really challenges your lower back. Live in that moment, understand the tension you have there, and then stand back up. It's a ton of glute when you stand up, but we're still getting some spinal extensions too.
Yeah, you're gonna wanna sit with 3 to 4 sets. I like to stay anywhere from 8 to 12 reps for this one in that middle range of volume, specifically because this is not an exercise you're trying to PR. But for this, I would like to see how much stress I can add on from a weight perspective while getting myself a certain amount of repetitions that feels comfortable, where I can start to groove that pattern well, because this is something that you tend to see in a lot of your day-to-day basis, whether you know it or not. So training a Romanian deadlift is a great way to get yourself stronger in a lot of ways.
Exactly, and point blank, of all the exercises on our list, this is gonna be the one you can load the most, even if you are staying in that 8 to 12 range. It's never bad to take on that load once you understand how to manage it. That's number 2 on our list.
And our top pick is a matter of choosing a more dynamic aspect to using posterior chain work, getting the lower back involved. The fact of the matter is, if you need to be powerful through movement, you need speed, you need intensity. The lower back has to be there to do that. And there's no better exercise for us in this setting than the kettlebell swing.
Exactly, and everything else we have is slow, controlled, very much about strength. This is about 2 ideas that really happen all the time in real life. It's a combination of acceleration as we're standing up, and your glutes are generally thought of as the driver for this, but your lower back is still playing a role as we're standing up and driving that weight forward and trying to propel our hips through. And then it's also deceleration. Every single time that kettlebell goes back between our legs, yes, we are working to really time that hinge and protect our lower back, but at the same time, your lower back, and on some level, really contract and create a little bit of deceleration force, or else if it doesn't, your spine is just gonna break. So just having all of that happen all at once at speed, this winds up being such a great lower back exercise.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about the hips and the lower back working together. A lot of the musculature in your lower back is going to support your ability for pelvic positioning, how your hips translate forward, specifically through the deceleration. When that weight is coming down fast at you, your lower back is the weakest link in that chain. So the fact of the matter is, we're gonna have to focus on having the right strength there to complement the ability of the glutes and the hamstrings to produce that force that's gonna really drive that kettlebell up. If it's not there, it'll be the quickest thing that you feel through a kettlebell swing, and that is not a position you wanna be in.
One of the miracles of the kettlebell swing from a lower back standpoint is the lower back work is just gonna happen if you do your kettlebell swings right. You don't need to try to add anything extra on the top.
But the fact is, a lot of people avoid low back training because they're afraid of pain when it's really just fatigue. And then it becomes a weaker muscle in a weaker space. And then you try to train it, and then it's more vulnerable, and it becomes a downward cycle that if you don't address it, specifically through strength-based options and dynamic options, you're going to always have that as a pain point for yourself. So it's important that you start to address it through your programming, and building up towards a kettlebell swing is an amazing way to do that.
If I'm doing it with lighter bells, I'll do this for time instead. I'll think 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. If I have a heavier bell, I'll usually be in like the 8 to 10 rep range. I think the key too is when I'm doing my kettlebell swings, even though we want to recognize that this is a lower back exercise, I'm still not trying to like overarch and turn it into some kind of excessive lower back exercise.
Sure. You're trying to throw the weight with your hips and hamstrings, but your lower back has to be strong enough in a position to sustain that, both on the acceleration and deceleration, which is why I play such a huge role through it.
And that's true on every single one of the exercises we have in here. Never in any of these exercises is just your lower back working. We can't isolate it like we isolate our biceps so we can do concentration curls. Doesn't work that way with your lower back. Instead, we have our lower back working with our glutes, working with our abs, working with all these other muscle groups, but our lower back is still getting a ton of work on all of these exercises. So if you get them in your routines, you're gonna be strengthening up your lower back. You're gonna get that lower back working with your abs, working with your glutes, and you're gonna feel stronger overall.